just do a quick casual volume check. And hello there, everybody. We are all up and running. Welcome to another episode of Disgustingly Resilient Podcast. Will, this is your thing. You're the podcast. Yeah, you do it.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Disgustingly Resilient Podcast. All three of us are back, myself included. I've been away on I've been lost in Nurgle's garden. Let's say that. And yeah, it's good to be back with the guys talking Death Guard and all things 40k. So we've got a few things we're going to discuss this episode. We'll just talk about it there. Maybe he's going to talk a little bit about Sisters and being top of the meta at the moment. Some sort of spicy drama that Aiden wants to sort of talk about. You know, the Tacoma Open, was it Aiden? You said. Yeah. And then might touch a bit on the WTC stuff. Maybe there's a few things to do with the format, some of the lists, maybe some of the teams taking Death Guard, and then just general chat, general meta stuff. You know, a bit about how 10th is going for everyone, what people think of the new edition. Is it good, bad, and events we've got coming up. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, Aiden, maybe do you want to, you know, or Dave, I don't know, where do you want to start? Maybe just what you've been up to since we've talked last. But you guys probably already taught them a couple of days ago, so it's probably only me who's got stuff that's happened.
Yeah, no, I think we've. I was going to say the other thing that's going to be interesting is for everyone is we're obviously doing a live podcast episode this week. So what might be useful if anyone in chat's got anything that they want to chuck in, they think is a real hot topic. Maybe, you know, if we think that if we've got that time between us, we could look at that too. But in terms of what we've been up to. Obviously, the plague surgery has been going really, really well. That's
too well. Some would say.
I think we've still got 50 lists to look at.
Oh wow!
That on top of the, I mean, we must have got through what between Aiden's ones he's done as well, probably 30 odd lists, probably.
Oh god, yeah.
It's been really interesting. So that's been a great new addition, and hope people have enjoyed it. And then yeah, I'm just kind of starting to get into LGT. Headspace and what I'm going to take to that. So certainly looking at that from my perspective in terms of near events. What about you, Aiden?
Yeah, really for me it's just been sort of like I'm kind of waiting for a bit for Leeds. That's coming up. That's my next super major. That's in like 3 weeks. Biding time, doing a little bit of practice. Not got as much practicing as I want, but paying attention to the meta, keeping on track of everything that's sort of like doing well at the moment, so I can sort of, you know, at least prepare mentally for it. Thankfully, the one good thing about being like one army, you know, one trick ponies is that we don't have to overly practice, because it's like I've played this list and this army 500 times already. It doesn't get too much, especially with index still. It's not too much room to go crazy with. But yeah, so obviously been doing that, and obviously during my time with the internet, finding out some spicy drama we'll cover later, and some hot takes on that. But yeah, no, apart of that, like I said, plague surgery with you. I've been keeping up with this 1 hour a night painting challenge we've started on our Discord. So for members, once you get access to the Discord, we've got a challenge going at the moment where basically we've set ourselves a goal that we'll try and spend at least 1 hour a night hobbying to get stuff done. And I mean, so far it's made me get like this thing painted up, so like it's working. So, and there's a couple of people who.
It's not working that well if it's a Vortan model you're painting.
Shut the fuck up, Will. And Slade Rodriguez in the chat.
Will, what's the name and theme of our entire thing?
Isn't it Vortan Go Bang or something like that? Yeah. Oh, it's Disgustingly Resilient Podcast.
The Disgustingly Orange Podcast. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Slade Rodriguez in the chat. Thank you so much for coming up there, mate. Really, thank you for the support. It really does make a big difference. Especially, we had a lot of support recently as well. So, for those who don't know, if you do enjoy the content, consider becoming a Plague Marine. You get access to our Discord, you get access to our giveaways, you get access to having your list reviewed in the Plague Surgery, amongst other things there. And if you don't want to become a member, please consider leaving a like and a subscribe at least, because that does really, really help us. And we will start making a million like and subscribe jokes as we go along, because, you know, the only best way to become better at Death Guard is to like and subscribe.
How the world works. Just rotate on clicks.
Yeah, literally. So where do we want to go first? What do we want to chat about first, guys?
I'm not sure really. I mean,
should we go with Sisters?
One of the things I mean, well, I suppose, you know what, this links to Sisters. One of the things I've been talking about is I'd like to talk about is PBCs, yay or nay, because obviously the core rules have kind of hurt them a lot without the points changing, in terms of you can't buff them to hit on more than a 4+. You could spend Boil Blight and you'll use a load of Virulence and hit on 2s or Mortarium, but we've lost that now. But then linking back to Sisters, there's a few things in the meta, a lot of infantry armies that like to stage behind walls and shoot and then move back behind the wall. I mean, what are you guys thinking on PBCs? Are you putting them in? Are you taking them out? Or, you know, where are your heads at with that?
So, like for me personally, I'm still a PBC simp. I just love the ability to like indirect stuff, even though it's like not as good, admittedly. Still just the fact it's there, especially because I'm more of a toolbox player. We talk about it, so having indirect as a tool, and like I already was shooting my indirect mainly like scoring pieces anyway. That kind of like weren't the hardest things to kill. You know, scouts, stealth suits, which are always -1 anyway. So it was like cool. I was hitting on 4s regardless. So and again, I didn't play Mortarion before with my list. I mean, I'm trying him out now, but even without like Morty in the list, I was still hitting on 4s with the indirect. Like Boil Blight plays obviously helped, but you know it's still good to get Boil Blight to get ignore cover, and you get the contagion -1 save as well. So I think they've still been doing really well, and they're still really good. I just playing a bit more aggressively than I normally would. Normally I'd sit them back and like only bring them out turn 3, but now it's like Plague Scroller in your face, and there's a Mortarion stood next to it, and another one, and 2 bloat drones, and it's like that's a lot of pressure. So, but yeah, I still rate them. I think they should be a bit cheaper personally, but the 2-up save combined with the toughness and the invulns just is paying dividends in a way. Getting most of the time 4-up save in due to the cover. It's really good. So yeah, I still think PBCs are absolutely fine. I think people don't need to like be rushing to drop them from the list, but I also don't think they're like I would always just like auto take 3, and I pretty much still do because it's just the kind of player I am. But if someone had 0 on the list, I'd be like, yeah, that's good, that's fine as well. Like I don't think they are as auto included as they used to be.
Yeah. Okay. And what about you, Dave? Are you running them, or are you sort of 1, 2, 3? I mean, what are you or none?
So I was running 2 to 3 plus Morty plus LOV. That was my kind of commitment on that front to it. And actually, since the nerfs happened and I've kind of dropped them, if I'm honest. That doesn't mean at all. I think Aiden's view of it's wrong at all. I think we're all, as we've talked about before, we all play Death Guard. I think in our ways, and I'm a bit more of a sledgehammer Death Guard player, I think, than a more delicate surgical toolbox player like Aiden is. But what I have done is put consistently, like a lot of people have. I've got drones and I've got the Plague Bus consistently in my list. They're more like the more foundational element, and then I've kind of moved into looking at Preds being much more consistent in there now. So I've taken those PVC points out and probably replaced them with Preds is probably more the core bit, and then led into basically my favourite units, and I've probably got more Death Shroud on the table than I would have had back when PBCs were indirect. So I agree with Aiden in that you can still get line of sight onto some units, and probably not always be hitting on 4s. But I think actually with even more terrain on the table now, it's particularly from a UKTC perspective, I should say, it's even harder to draw those line of sights that perhaps you could have done before quite as easily. And if you move the PBCs out, it's still as easy for your opponent, to your point, Will, to stage those infantry units which might be able to get in there or might be able to damage it, or bring another vehicle up behind those kind of new 9x3 inch pieces, and then tow into it and then get shots in. So at the moment, I've backed away from them. But like you said, Aiden, I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer for the Death Guard community out there and how people are playing.
That's interesting.
Just very quickly, but for Baliundor in the chat, the new guy on the right is actually he's known as War Dog Will. He's very new to the channel. So why don't you tell us what you've been playing, Will? Because obviously I heard from you. Well, apart from War Dogs, I assume there's at least one in the list. Go on, you take us through what you've been trying out.
Well, I mean, I've played quite a few events since been on. Obviously, with scheduled classes and stuff, I haven't been able to get on the sort of the podcast as such. But I played the Glasshammer GT. I played the Sheffield GT, and I think I played maybe a small event as well. Maybe it's an RTT or something, but I can't remember actually. But those two, I've tried different things. So one of them at Glasshammer, I went for my standard 3 Predators, 3 Carnivores, 30 Plague Marines, some Rhinos, and then the supporting characters, and actually loads of Cultists and Poxwalkers, 30 Cultists and 10 Poxwalkers. And yeah, I mean, the list is good. It's got loads of stuff in it, but I found on that terrain set, because Glasshammer opened up the windows on the second floors, and as soon as you stood on the base, obviously it came through line of sight. The Carnivores were a bit of a liability. So I think 2 would have been fine, but the third one just either couldn't stage. You were just standing somewhere safe out the game, or he was, getting shot off the board. So, so in that sense, I've been similar. And then Sheffield, so I've actually played on the first of the UKTC events with the new terrain. I quite like it. I think I agree with Dave. It's very kind of weird for there's a lot less line of sight than it looks like because they've got like a base now with the people in the UK have played UKTC a lot. Remember maybe the tiny little corner bits, and they're kind of back in now on a base. So sometimes you look at the board, it looks like there's loads of lines, but you forget that you can't shoot over the base that's kind of marked. And yeah, I mean, you know, I'm still running 3 Predators, 3 Carnivores. I took the same list of both. It did a lot better at UKTC than Glasshammer, but I am thinking about putting Predators back in. Sorry, Predators, putting PBCs back into the list because I did play Sisters twice, and I don't know. Both games I just found myself thinking if I had PBCs here, this would be way easier. Blood Angels the same, but then I also think, you know, whenever I come up against Chaos Knights, I'm so glad I've got 3 Predators and not 3 PBCs. So I mean. With the PBCs, I mean, how do you guys sort of fare into Knights and things? You know, what do you guys put into your list, you know, to sort of counter like vehicle skews, or do you just sort of try and outplay them and score the game? Because I know that you guys generally don't run the sort of, you know, except if you, Dave, of course. I know you run sort of lots of Predators and things, but Aiden, you tend not to run like big hammer units. You maybe have the 10 Plague Marines, or maybe it's like Death Shroud, and that's kind of it. Like, I don't know, what are you guys doing for anti-tank at the moment?
When it comes to anti-tank against knights and stuff, I mean, it's not my favourite matchup, obviously. It's like one I'd rather not play against, but if I get it, usually it's just about making them take bad trades, and that's basically I'm using melee mainly to do most of the damage. Like, I'm getting a 10-man Plague Marine unit out of Rhino. I'm not doing it to kill 1 War Dog, I'm doing it to kill like 2 or 3. So to make that happen, it's like being in the right positions. Death Shroud obviously still come down and kill some. Indirect, used to like be able to pick up a War Dog if you got Boil Blight off. That's probably not so much the case anymore. So I used to go like 2 Flamers, 1 Entropy. That's definitely now the other way around in case. 2 Entropies, 1 Flamer. But to be honest, I won't lie. There is a little bit of me like trying to dodge like War Dog spam. I won't lie, like that's the thing because it's not exactly great. But mainly, if I'm playing that one, I'm like really hoping that they make a bad trade somewhere. I'll leave open for a. Yeah, I'll leave open for like a big Death Shroud block to get in and go and like kill like 2 or 3 War Dogs. But you know, we have good matchups, we have bad matchups. Whereas like if I come across like Blood Angels, I am not worried at all. I just like I kill Blood Angels every time I play against them. Like cool. Here's a 90-point bloat drone. Go and trade 200 or 300 points Death Company for that, and I'm happy with that. Cool. So every time. But it's just swings and roundabouts. Like this edition's very rock paper scissory. So you're never going to have a list that's perfect for everything. But yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, I think that's quite, you know, quite a good answer, I guess. I mean, what about you, Dave? Are you back on Land Raiders, anything like that, or are you?
No, I've got at least 2 Preds in my list, so I've got my las cannons on that front, and the autocannon is surprisingly good into. You get a good roll into War Dogs with flat 3. Like it's possible to really mess them up with those 2 and then finish them off with some plink. The other thing I'm a bit like, just as actually maybe laugh at Valiandor in the chat, is my Death Shroud or anti-tank. There's nothing in this game 6 Death Shroud and a Lord of Contagion cannot kill. But I mean, pretty much nothing that it can't kill, especially if you put a sustained 1 or the additional AP on it. Those guys hit on 2s, 6 are lethal, re-rolling everything with sustained. They just absolutely wreck stuff. So, yeah, I think that if you've got like a 10-man fights first Plague Marine squad as well somewhere, you're a bit like, right, well, you come to me, and then we'll get in close and we'll see what happens. So, but I still think it's one of our more difficult matchups, particularly against a good Chaos Knights player.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, my list generally finds it favourable, but my list I know is a completely different skew from your guys. The 3 Predators and the 3 Carnivores.
Yeah, your Carnivores can kill Carnivores.
Yeah, Carnivore. As long as your Carnivore charges first, you have to just make sure you do it.
You win on that front. Yeah. And
yeah.
then you've got the to pick up the Brigands.
Yeah, well, you're right with the Predators as well, the autocannons, because you get 2 rounds of shooting, don't you, generally? Because the first round they can't return fire because of 24-inch range. Exactly. And then the second round is where you start picking things up. Because against Chaos Knights, you kill hardly anything in your first turn of shooting them, I find. But it's a second turn when you pick up the ones that were left on 4 and 6 wounds, and they start sort of going off, and then attrition. You know, if they lose, say 5 or 6 knights from the first 2 or 3 turns, it's generally sort of like starts going in your favour, doesn't it?
Well, the only other thing you do is you play my car park list, which was Land Raider, 3 Predator Annihilators, 2 Predator Destructors, a Hellbrute with las cannon missile launcher, and 2 PBCs, and then 2 units of 10 cultists. That kills Chaos Knights mostly turn 1 if they've got anything sticking out.
Baliandor saying that he tried a Land Raider on WTC terrain, and oh boy, was it painful. Yeah, I believe WT is probably like one of the most dense terrains, and also not got the like low terrain where you can like drive over too much. So I can see that being struggled. I think it's a bit more accessible on UKTC now.
I think you say that, but now if you go on the staggered deployment, there's still only. I was looking at it while I'm measuring it out because I've built the boards at home to play some of my games. There's still only 2 places mostly that you can get them through a gap because they're 5.5 inches wide, and you still have to deploy them only in 1 or 2 spots to get them out of your deployment zone. And if you don't deploy them outside of that, it doesn't get out. And now with the extra training, I think they're actually even more of a slight liability, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Yeah, my personal view. I mean, I'm now. I haven't looked at it and gone, yeah, I'm definitely sticking a Land Raider on that map.
Yeah, I tried them at one tournament just to start this. I think it was one in Bolton, the one Lords of War, and it's basically UK TC plus those massive 2 sort of bits in the middle. So there's hardly any lines. I literally couldn't move. I couldn't even leave my deployment zone on half the deployments. It was just bouncing around the square. It was very sad. So I can understand if people have tried them, especially on WTC terrain where there's hardly anywhere to move it. It's just frustrating when you sort of come up against that. But I don't know. I don't know, Land Raiders. I mean, other people do really well with them, but it's a flame one, isn't it? Like the flame one's a different beast because you don't need to actually.
I wish you were a Redeemer.
I know. I mean, it gets extra move as well. Does it move 14 inches?
Yeah, because reasons. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, there's extra 4 inch on a Land Raider go a long way.
Oh yeah.
Like, they just. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's a choice. I think there's still some boards where it probably works, but for me, you know, I was curious to ask Dave to know he tried them, and I did wonder if there was something. Cause with the Glasshammer event, I thought, I wish I'd maybe bought 2 Land Raiders, but then, even then, I think they're probably, when you start sort of looking at the bases, blocking line of sight, I think they're not as good as what you think, because they're big, aren't they? You've got to be right on the terrain, or like poking over it to shoot. So just towing on doesn't really mean anything. I'm trying to think what else.
And that's also why, if you look at the cost of 2 Land Raiders versus which we've started to see quite a lot since we've been talking about it in some of the play surgery bits, that gets you a despoiler.
Yeah.
Which, considering it can just step through the building now, and is with, you know, as we talked about the other night, with 4d6 plus 12, strength 10, flat 3 damage shots. I mean, I would rather take that than 2 Land Raiders these days.
Dave's fallen to the Chaos Knight side, unfortunately. He's joined War Dog Will.
In my absence, he goes, someone had to fill it.
I've actually rearranged my cabinet now. I've taken the bottom shelf out and tidied all the top up, because I'm gonna have a total of 6 big knights, and 4 war dogs now in there. So it's amazing to be able to just swap one out, but I think the Porphyrion's going to be. I will take that to a tournament just for sheer fun.
That'd be cool. Just very quickly, Derp Turkeys, thank you so much for coming and playing Green, mate. Massive appreciate it. Again, check the community tab on our YouTube page. There'll be a post that members can see with a link to the Discord, which I freshly updated today and made sure to set that it doesn't expire. So I put up the other one and it expired for a day, and everyone was like, I can't get on. I was like, oh shit. So I fixed that now. So go check that, join in. But thank you so much for the support. One thing I did want to actually mention then is, obviously, we talk about the kind of like armies that we're seeing a lot. So like a lot of the good armies, like popularity of armies at the moment. So Sisters are obviously on the rise. Probably the most powerful rule set in the game at the moment. Custodes have made a comeback as well. I'll have to get out my golden ass kicking boots again and go and put them back in the dirt. Blood Angels are incredibly popular at the moment. Incredibly popular. Probably one of the most popular armies. We're seeing a rise of Dark Angels as well. A lot of people bringing out those 15 Deathwing Knights and the Inner Circle Companions. And I think that'll start to go up as time goes along. A lot of people didn't go out and buy those kits because obviously the book came out and it was terrible. And now the buffs have come out. People are probably going out buying the kits and instilling that. You know, like we have that hobby lag phase. So I'd expect to see a lot more of them. I think that's going to be the 2 main Marine armies you're going to see, is Blood Angels and Dark Angels these days. Tyranids they were already popular, the starter army, but now getting a bit of a boost and a bit of a glow up. We're seeing a lot more Tyranids as well. Admech getting a good boost of power, but still not popularity picking up, because it's just a really ridiculous thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Mm.
You need what, 12 chickens?
Yeah, it's like oh cool, my army's 2,000 points and costs £3,000.
It's just silly money, isn't it? Yeah, it's insane the amount it costs.
It is ridiculous. So, I mean, we're gonna see. The one thing that's like making me try more at the moment, and I've said it before, is that we're seeing like a lot of these armies that have access to armor of contempt strats. So sisters all have it. Oh, Bringers of Flame, which is the most popular one, has it. All the Marine factions obviously have it as well. So it's like, I really hate armor of contempt. It's one of my most hated strats. So being able to turn that off with Mortarion has been like real cool. And sisters also like they still like die to indirect and flamers. So like PBCs like kind of shaft them. I like the motion of being like, okay, you have like a Dominion sister squad with 5 melter guns in it. Okay, you want to shoot them, you have to come in flamer range. You're 12 and I'm 12. So you are 1 wound infantry. You walk towards me, I will spray you. I'll probably kill like, I mean, yeah, look, you kill the entire squad. But even if you can only kill like 2 or 3, you can really take the teeth out of a unit, and then it's just suddenly not as scary anymore. So I'm not. That's the reason I'm testing Morty at the moment is because a lot of these armies that are coming in have access to like armor contempt, stuff like that. And I think he might find a place again, not as the indirect buff boy now, but it's more like the I have an answer to people's defensive strats, which he already was anyway. But he's been doing pretty well. Weirdly, he's been pretty well. I'm relatively happy with how he's been performing. So we'll have to see. Whereas you may have both fallen to the night side, I've returned to the Primarch.
I mean, the wings as well. That helps him a lot as well. You know, like his free pivot.
Yeah,
like
I'm glad we finally got that clarified by GW.
And the wings can overhang the side of the board, and they can overhang terrain, and
yeah, it's much easier to get Mortarion like around the board, and like also it's just fun to like spin him as you move him just for fun because you can just like wee.
It's a really I mean, I think the other thing that's kind of like I said, the fact everyone's got armor of contempt. The other thing everybody seems to have now, and I mean like everybody, is sticky objectives. That just seems to be on everything I'm watching. Everyone can do it, almost in every army in some rule.
It's just the missions as well, though, isn't it? Like because the new mission pack is it's not taking hold. It's the one where every army just gets it as a second mission. That's really popular at tournaments as well. It seems to be in every tournament pack at least once.
So we got some questions in chat by the way, guys, very quickly. Tyrion Baal has put in. He's got 2 questions, so we'll go with the second one first. What army best contrasts with Death Guard for a second army? So, I mean, obvious answer there is anything that's fast. So
Tau, Eldar.
Yeah, Tau, Eldar. World Eaters if you want to stick with Chaos, or Thousand Suns, because Thousand Suns is full of tricks, and World Eaters is just mega fast. But I think you're safe with anything that basically does it move more than 6. Like you're pretty good on any of those fronts.
Can you redeploy?
Yeah. Do you have reactive moves?
Can you uppy downy? That's a contrast.
That's also a good one. It's like even like Grey Knights would be a crazy like contrast. It depends what you mean by contrast, because you can have like a contrasting feel of an army, but it's still be like a power armor army, or do you want like a full contrast, which is like Dark Eldar, which is like I no longer have armor, I have the speed, let's go. But yeah, if you wanted to stick within Chaos, I'd probably say like World Eaters or Thousand Suns. I wouldn't go normal CSM.
Demons?
Yeah, or Demons. Demons is a great shout.
Demons are very contrasty, you know. It depends how you build them. You can go Monster Mash, or you can take like a mixed force, but they've got uppy downy, and their whole stick is, like you say, coming into bits of board where they're hard to screen, and when they're in there, they've got lots of tricks, but they are also, you know, they live and die by the 4+ invuln is their problem. You know, they can either stonewall you or sometimes they just fall over. So, but that's, you know, welcome to the world of Warhammer, I guess. 4+ saves can be the making or breaking of you sometimes.
Yeah,
true. And then his second question was, what's your best way to deal with armor as Death Guard? So no doubt armor is probably cracking. Is one of our usually weakest. But for me, it's either melee. So for me personally, it's melee, or I do a lot of death by 1,000 cuts / mortal wounds. So grenades, typhus, which is funny because we all have different answers for that. So mine's like either like I get lucky on melter hits on lethals with the Biosprit Fire and I kill you. Melee from like Lord of Contagion or mortal wounds is usually my answer. So Will's answer though is going to be a bit different, I imagine.
Well, carnivores.
Apply
carnivores do well. But no, I mean, if you want to do Death Guard though, it's the biggest. I don't know. We've talked about this in the chat. I don't know if anyone else has ever realised this. The biggest damage output that we have in our whole codex in any one phase of damage is 10-man Plague Marines, but with the Tallyman and the Biologist Putrefier. because you get the +1 to hit and the lethals on 5s. So those two as a combination. Although 6 Death Shroud with a load of virulence reroll in hits might come close as well. So if you're just looking for that, but probably Predators is the real answer. If you want to stick mono Death Guard, probably take 3. Take Destructors because the autocannon still does work into armor, and then you get a mix on profile. So if you do come against infantry, you haven't just sort of gone too hard into
caveat.
into
Unless it's apparently my Predator Annihilator, which I always believe in.
Apart from Aiden's one,
he just like
it just kills a War Dog Titan every time.
It was when I was against the Custodes player. I was like, okay, I'm going to shoot your Calidus Grab Tank. 3 shots, 3 hits, 3 wounds, fails 3 involved, 666 damage. Bang, gone. 1 tap. I was like, looking at this little Predator like.
Yeah, he used to tell me stories that, and I was like, "What?" It'd be like, "Oh yeah, I did 18 damage. Like, what with your 1d6 gun? Yeah, it just does that sometimes." Be like, "What?"
Yeah, I think
6 times 6 is my damage. Yeah.
So I played the Dark Angels Legends meme list, which was a Kratos, a Sikaran Venator, a Leviathan Dreadnought. It was 2 Predators. It was all this stuff. I rapid ingressed my 6-man Death Shroud with Lord of Contagion behind the new 3x9-inch wall in his turn. Next turn, moved them over, had an unfailable charge into the Kratos. Was in range of an infected objective marker. Spent my CP on sustained with now 2 and AP up to 2 on criticals. Rolled 24 attacks with the Death Shroud. Got 12 6s in the first roll. Picked up the rest. Got another 6. Had 18, which turned into another 36 attacks. So 18 of them were AP 5. Which went straight through. So that's 36 flat damage straight through the armor, and the rest. And then I basically rolled all the rest through and put another sort of 12 dice through for another 24 damage, without the LOC going in as well. So like my anti-armor is Death Shroud and Predators.
Nice. I mean, one thing, but while we're talking armor, actually, because I know there's another question, but this is a good one for Aiden, and also this is another one we're running through the meta. There's a list that we missed. Is Necrons. I don't know. Do you know the same? Do you know Andy, who you played on teams with?
Oh yeah,
do you know he won the whole of Sheffield.
I know he did.
Yeah.
He did.
So the reality is, because
super proud of him.
Well, you'll probably play against this weekend. I'm guessing you're at Stonehammer, are you?
No.
Oh, you're not?
No, because I'm going to Leeds in 2 weeks, and so my missus is in Benidorm all next week with her family. So like I'm spending time with her this week, and then she's away, and then I'm away. So yeah, no Stonehammer for me. I was debating it, but no, not. I'll pass this one, unfortunately.
No, I just thought you might have actually bumped into, because obviously you two are often on the top tables, either next to each other, table next to each other, playing against each other. So you probably got a 1 in 4 chance of clashing with him if you were there. But I mean, because that's links nice to the question, because how did Death Guard play in that list? Because I played against him at a couple of practice games, and they just can't crack it. There's nothing I can do that just gets through those profiles.
You turn 1, move, advance, and charge a Rampager into their monolith and kill it. Which only happened in 1 game, so it was wild. But yeah, that was the solution at my game I had against them recently. And then they had to turn every gun and unit in their deployment zone to try and kill it, which they did, and then it blew up, and then it hurt everything. And then I rapid ingress and Death Shroud, which killed the Nightbringer, which killed the Satan, and then. But yeah, usually you're right. They're really difficult.
They just move around, don't they? Like
anything that's fast moving is super tough. I think also Grey Knights in the same way are super troublesome for us at the minute.
That's one of the matches where you need the 3 PBCs, because you just shoot his scoring units, and then you leave him with a Silent King, a Tesseract Vault, and a Catan. You're like, cool. You just drew a card to do 2 actions. Go do nothing with 2 units out your 3. You really have to just focus on the scoring units, but it's a good list, and obviously it works. And Andy's a very good player, so it's always hard in games against Andy. But I mean, we all know what will happen anyway. Even if I went this weekend, you know what would happen, Will. I won't be playing Andy, I'll be playing Matt. Because it happens every damn time. Poor Matt's blood angels. So I'm just going to... Go on. I was going to read chat, so I'll catch up. After this, I'll catch up with chat.
Yeah. Was actually going back to Sisters, I'm saying that I personally think they're probably... I was going to say the boogeymen, the boogie women in the meta at the minute. The amount of miracle dice that they now get, and the ability to re-roll the miracle dice, is like I killed something, I get that. You killed something of mine, I get that. Start of a turn, I get this, and I don't like that because I'm within 12 of my magifier. I can re-roll that 1 into a 5. Okay, great. I'm now going to make that charge. I'm going to max that damage. I'm going to. It feels like almost like start of 10th Eldari, like damage like that comes out of them.
I mean,
it's super tough because
it doesn't just feel like
now,
it. It
yeah,
basically is.
Yeah, well, I played them twice at Sheffield, so that leads to something that's worth dropping in actually here, because I think we might talk about this in chat, but I think Death Guard guys, we need to be putting Nurglings back in. To be honest, you need to be shutting down those advances on the sisters. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, they can even deploy like right in the back of the corner, and a Rhino with the Flame Squad out, they're in your deployment zone right in your corner. They literally move the length of the board. Like, I played sisters twice, and it was almost the same list, and they played. You know, UKTC now, if anyone's noticed, basically the missions are really similar, like, or the deployment zones are really similar. So they use the new, yeah. So I played them both on that same step deployment zone, obviously different missions, but they deployed almost identically, did almost identical thing both at the same time. Yeah. The first one rinsed me. I lost handily, and the second one I lost by 2 points. But it was the weird mission where the objectives disappear. And I stacked my Plague Marines in the corner objective that stayed. And I actually think I could have won it if I just realised there was a play on that I didn't do. But I had no right winning it, really. It was just because the objectives fell in my favour in that one. And I lost anyway, but it shouldn't have been as close as it was, is what I'm trying to say. Which is why the PBC's been good. But Nurglings, definitely. I think 2 units might still be too much, because I think the second one sometimes
has no role.
What's it doing?
Yeah,
but the first, I think 1's really good because it still scores you a couple of secondaries like engage and stuff, zones out of board for the ball for deep strikes. But just realising what I was trying to do and then deploying the Nurglings last because he didn't have anything to board, and just putting it in front of the one that was going to come all the way down and sort of hemming it in.
Yeah, so just to clarify for listeners who don't know about it, like, if Sisters put a Dominion squad inside an Immolator, they can give it Scout, so then that can Scout 6, the Immolator then moves 12. If they have an enhancement, that can give it +2 to that. On it, so it moves 14.
+3 move from Catherine, and I think they can make auto advance.
And then +6 from a Miracle Dice advance with, or you can do it for 1 command point to make it an auto 6, and it can then still shoot.
They can still get out.
Oh, you can get out and shoot. Yeah.
They might be able to get out, move, advance, and shoot.
It is.
It's
so
insane.
Stupid.
Yeah, it's insane. It was just like they were literally moving from one corner to the other corner on the long board edge, like near enough. It was like, what is happening here?
Yeah, it's silly, and we had to that's one of the things that that's what making them so strong. And the one thing that sort of makes us okay against Sisters is Sisters, because their rules are absurd. They go into a lot of points. Like, we had the joke about Stephen Box's list going up 500 points, which it did. So us being one of the cheapest armies per body, we can, if we play it right, out-trade Sisters real hard. We can make them take really bad trade against us, but it's really hard because to make trades, you normally expose unit, they have to react to kill that unit. That army is so fast, it can jump past your exposed unit into your backlines and actually pick up the stuff you don't want to be trading. So it is a hard matchup.
The trades are misleading as well, because you lose stuff in your movement phase that you weren't expecting to.
Yes,
because Overwatch isn't normally just 2 metal guns that are guaranteed to hit you. Do you know what I mean? Then there are all the wounds and, you know, whatever the damage if they go straight through. Like, basically, they just get you in lots of different ways. And if you move to I don't know the names of the unit, the infantry that get out and do all the stuff
Dominion,
when they get
out. They have reactive
get
move.
back in. Yeah, so if you move to get them in, they just get back in the transport, and then, you know, fair play. Sometimes that doesn't matter, but sometimes it's also like, all right, I was going to kill those infantry squad with my 5 Plague Marines, which are now charging a full wounds Immolator. Yeah, and you know it's not.
And if you shoot the Immolator and don't kill it, they can disembark and shoot you back.
Yeah. Plus the Immolator also then has flamers, so sometimes it's like, does the Immolator have flamers? It does, doesn't it?
A lot of them are taking multi-metals because they're only 1 damage flamers, so it's not that scary. If it was 2 damage, I'd be a lot more scared. But yeah, it's only 6/1/1, so it's not too bad. But yeah, you are right, and it's one of those. And the problem is, again, all these rules would kind of be okay if the miracle dice weren't there, because the most powerful thing you can do in 40k is remove a roll. You remove a roll, you don't have any risk, you don't have any chance, you just know you're going to do what you want to do. And they get way too many. And not only do they get way too many, they get way too many ways to manipulate the ones they do get. So it's not just like Eldar where they roll the dice at the start and then maybe they can generate 1 or 2 here. like they have like Eldar like 6 now at the start, something like that. But they have ways to manipulate it. They can like Farseer can make one into an auto 6 if they want, but they have a limited pool and they can't generate as easy. Sisters just drown in them. Like they kill a unit, they get a dice. They lose a unit, they get a dice. Every player's turn, they get a dice. And the worst bit is not only now, so they can flip dice, like you said in Magifier, but the worst bit now in the new book, which really annoys me, is even if they get a 1 on the Miracle Dice and then they reroll it because the Magifier, it goes back into a 1. Normally I'd be like, oh, that's not a good Miracle Dice. But now they can go, okay, Morven Valley's going to now discard that 1 Miracle Dice and get +3 attacks to her shooting in a melee. Like, they give them a way to spend bad dice, which is even more stupid because, like, it feels really bad. Like you said, if you can't walk a tank past a thing and go, right, it's only got 1 shot. There's no one in the right mind would pay Overwatch for 1 shot because it's just the odds aren't going to hit it. But you can't do that with Sisters because he could pay his 1 CP, just auto 6 that, and now I'm blown up. It feels bad, and I don't get how we have Eldar releasing the state it did with Fate Dice being so prominent and bullshit, and then they make a book that is the same mechanic but way worse. It boggles the mind. But I'm sure if it becomes too prominent and too strong, we will we'll see them fix it because they do fix stuff. To be fair, so we'll get there. It's just one of those. And at the same time, like Sisters are paying like premium for the units at the moment. But it is what it is.
That's why you want the Nurglings, because one of the problems I found was as soon as you're in your deployment zone, you can't ignore them. You can't just leave them there. You can't just sort of like move deployment zone because they're going to come across. So then the units that you stay to go and like sort of compete on the middle objectives to either deny their primary or score your own primary, and then diverted into the corner where there's nothing happening other than just trying to like kill these 5 sisters, that you can't move within 6 of because or 9 of whenever because they'll get back inside the transport or they'll overwatch you. You know what I mean? So you end up sort of playing this like game where you're sort of trying to like reposition stuff to shoot into your own deployment zone because you can't leave it there. So it's like a sort of shit sandwich situation. You can't let them there, but then going to deal with them means you're not fighting for the objectives in the middle of the board. So having the Nurglings, like realising what they were doing in the second game when I did that, that alone changed it dramatically. So I think, but it's not just Sisters as well. I think Nurglings at the moment, there's so many sort of armies. Last time I got put, flipping Wolf Jail and what's the other one? I got put in Wolf Jail and Gaunt Jail like back to back. I mean, the Gaunt one was just kind of like he was just in my deployment zone. It was fair enough. He was like a UKTC player who said for one of the one of my films. So he plays for one of the countries, and he said NIDs are his thing, and he always plays NIDs. It's one of the like not one of the top seeded countries, but. Like, it was one of them games where it was really funny. It was a great opponent, but being put in that jail, and because you're killing loads of stuff, but you're going nowhere and scoring nothing.
Yeah.
And then the Wolf Jail one is so frustrating. It's like that, because I have the Corn Berserker thing, so, I walled, made a row of Plague Marines. They couldn't come in the deployment zones. They couldn't come to the building of the Plague Marines. Then you can't shoot them either, because then they get the Corn Berserker thing for a strat, where they move towards the nearest
Blood Surge equivalent.
Yeah, and as soon as they're in combat with the Plague Marines, they're not move blocked anymore, and I can't shoot them anyway because they're in combat. So you just have to do that and then just leave them there, and then try and sort of scoot the other side of the board. And so I think Nurglings for that reason just need to be in there. And then the Cultists I've found really good as well. I mean, I've been running 3 units of Cultists. Haven't looked back once, to be honest. I'd take 5 units of Cultists if I could. I think they're slowly becoming MVPs. Yeah.
But this is also why I think this, and bizarrely where I think looking at the UKTC terrain changes as well. Why I know it's particularly Aiden's going to probably roll his eyes this, but so a lot of the lists I've been building have got 2 units of 6 Death Shroud in them again, because they're like you come against Hordy stuff, you flame the crap out of it. You go into a tank or elite infantry, you kill it. Like it is a deterrent for someone to come too near it. If they do charge into it, it's 2 up, 4 ups, 3 wounds. You can make it in tank here. It's -1 damage. It's going to be -1 to hit. Like you can make it -2 to hit quite easily. And I think with looking at the new ways of some of these more infantry-based armies, they're potentially a really strong deterrent from people getting too close and trying to come and do that, trying to play that jail move quite the same way, because they do just wipe out whatever goes into them, unless they've got some very serious and high volume of big damage attacks. That's kind of that's just a personal kind of reaction to it, but I think even having said that though, I still think going back to my point at the beginning, yeah, I think sisters are the are the boogie women of the current meta. I think they're
Sisters
a
and
hard
the
game to beat.
Necron build that Andy's running,
Yeah.
like that we know, because
Is that the hyper?
yeah, because Dave Lenny, everyone calls him Dave Lewinsky, he did an Art of War Down Under one. He's like another local guy, plays a lot around the north. He won with an almost identical list, or very similar sort of concept. So I think it's one of these skew lists. So I think it's a kind of list where if it has the right run, it'll go really well at super majors and tournaments. But there are builds out there that can, they just look at that monolith. Maybe some guard builds. Someone takes, give the Baneblade a run out today. It's been a while, so I'll blow the dust off and
Yeah,
bang goes your monolith turn one.
Yeah.
Just saying, Morty also is there for those Catan as well. I'm just saying. Half damage this twat. Bang, gone.
Well, let's get about the Catan as well. So I had I think it was Void Dragon on the board, and I shot the heavy blight launcher at it, flamed it with the dash shroud, took some wounds off it with that, put one Predator autocannon into it, did some damage with it, a few other plane shots, and then finished it with the 6 dash shroud going in melee.
Nice.
And it went down pretty unspectacularly.
Right. I mean, I killed the Nightbringer. Like this was the randomest thing. So at the end of the game, I'd already won. But we were just sort of talking it through. We had time to spare, so we'll roll it and we'll just see what happens. So we'll put the 10 Plague Marines into the Nightbringer. He was left on 1 wound after the shooting because he just rolled 3s consistently. Couldn't make the save. Couldn't make. I think it was like, we're just like, mate, if I knew this was going to happen, I'd have done this like turn 1. We were both like, sort of like just looking at each other like, he should not be on 1 wound right now from like 2 flamers. Because I don't take the shoot ones. Literally 2 of the like anti-infantry flamers, the characters flamer, 1 lot of grenades, 1 singular plasma gun, and then the grenade, like for the shooting grenades from the Valley's Beautifier. Like it was like everything hit and wounded, like was 5s and 6s. And it was just like, mate, it's just the weirdest round of like shooting I've ever seen. And he just consistently just failed all his saves. So yeah, it was but that doesn't normally happen though, does it really?
No, it doesn't, like.
Go on, I was just gonna once you've said this, I'm gonna go quick. Got a few questions in the chat for us, so
Yeah. I mean, I was going to sort of segue into something else, but let's do the questions. I was going to.
So we'll rapid fire these answers, these questions. So Jacob's asking, how impactful have the changes to Vex been for you, gents? I came across 1 Vex thing so far, which was a Khalid assassin, and she died turn 1 to indirect because she deployed a little too close and forgot I could just drive her in 12 and indirect her. So that's my experience of Vex so far, but I can see it being problematic.
I've played against it and come a cropper to it, to be fair. I forgot it was there. And then went to do I could tell with the names of the strats, the lethal hits on 5s. And so that's 2 CP. I was like, why is it 2 CP? And then he was like, could have shot her, just didn't think. But the cost of 1 extra on all your strats, like it really does like sort of catch you out. And it's one of these things where Aiden's very right. Like I think she dies easily. Like she'll die. I mean, even like a one plague spitter might take her out, on a lucky roll. But if the ability is there and it goes off, it's devastating. But one thing I would say to people is, because my mate came up with this and he got the TO ruled the wrong way on it, which we sort of discussed afterwards. Because we discussed if you deep strike within 12 of her, the deep strike, you pay the CP when the unit's still in the sky. So deep striking within 12 of the Calidus, it doesn't make that infiltrate. Rapid ingress. 2 CP instead of 1. So my friend was at a tournament and the TO ruled it the other way, but you spend the CP.
Weird.
Yeah, I know. Like it's. I scratch me because that's.
Yeah, that's stupid.
So, so just for people to know, so both ways, just be aware of that. Don't know what your thoughts, Dave. Have you come up against it? Yeah, have you come up against the new Vectru?
I haven't really been hit by it, to be honest. And similar thing. Like I think I just typhused her off the table last time I saw her. So.
Fair play. All right, so we'll carry on to the next one. So we've got. Sorry, I'm still rather new to 40k. If you take a big knight in Death Guard, can they still walk through terrain, Dave?
100%.
Yeah.
It's just have to roll a d6, and on a 1 you battle shocked.
That's it. It's just a passive rule to them.
Yeah, just to clarify that as well, though, like Dave said, but because Chaos Knights do have a stratagem that lets you do it, you don't have access to stratagems, if that's what you meant.
Yes. Yeah, so if you were playing that, yes, you can Knights of Shade, is it called?
Knights of Shade, we walk through walls, so you can't spend any stratagems on your knights apart from the core rules one.
And you can do that with 2 War Dogs or 1 Big Knight, right?
Yeah, that's the CP one that we don't get access to in Death Guard, but in Mono Knights do.
So just remember, no strats. If you put a Big Knight in, no strats, no Chaos Knight strats to spend on them, and they don't benefit from any of our auras.
Yeah, you can't rotate Ion Shields, for example, which gives it the 4+ invuln.
But what you can do, remember, is you can use Cultists or something, which are out there, to put someone into contagion range and make them -1 toughness or -1 save, and then shoot a knight at them or hit them with the knight, and they are going to be -1 toughness and -1 save or whatever.
Yeah. That's my favourite with the carnivores in combat. Carnivores pick up a big knight in combat 9 out of 10 times if you make it. So the big knight -1 toughness and you put an extra AP on the carnivore. Yeah. All of a sudden it's AP 4 and it's smash. It goes straight through the armour, and it's wounded on 3s, hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, 6 attacks, D6 +2. Especially if you save a CP to reroll one of the hits, one of the damages, one of the generally if you've got one of the ones wherever you need it, a carnivore will pick up a big knight on average dice. So stuff like that's a great trade where, like Dave said, one little Poxwalker comes and puts it in contagion and he's like, thanks Poxwalker, and then just smashes through the big knight. So yeah.
Nice. So then we got next one. Have any of you tried out Rotigus and Prey next year? He's been working out really well for me when I deep strike him as close to no man's land as possible. His flamers are great for Overwatch 2. I haven't played Rotigus, but last time I tried him, it was in the meme list of like, this is terrible units, and he was like the biggest MVP ever. I think he can still struggle to be on terrain, but I don't know if I'd take him to events, but like, he's still like, he's dirt cheap. He's like 230 points, something stupid. And for what he is, I mean, he's got a 4-pin ball and a shit ton of wounds, and he's got half move and half OCR. He's got a decent flamer. He's got a damage 4 bonk or a damage 2 sweep. And he's a character who can epic challenge and all that good stuff. So yeah, I still really like. He's pretty decent. Like, I wouldn't. Am I rushing to pick my lists? Probably not. But at the same time, like, he's not bad.
Yeah, I think he's solid. I've played against him a couple of times, and I think he's really good. I think he's better in Demons than he is in Death Guard, obviously. But I think if you're allying him in, he's no problem. But I think also if you want to take him, do you know what I think he'd be amazing for? Just holding down your home field. I know it's 230 points, but no one's taking that home field objective.
And they physically can't stand on the objective either because he's too far.
Yeah. I mean, he's good for doing. He's better at doing the centre as well if he can get there. But then it's back to sort of, can you move him there? But yeah, I think he's fine. I think he's not optimal. I don't think. I think there's better ways to spend 230 points. But if you just love the model and you want to play him, I don't think you're doing anything wrong with it.
I wish they were both a little bit cheaper so that you could get 2 units of Nurglings, Rotigus, and a Great Unclean One in the allies section, and then just be like, boom.
I like T12. Here's Morty as well.
I'd love it. But
if you could take the Great Unclean One's enhancement where he has a 4+ fame pain, you'd take him in every list. You'd probably start every list with him because he's so hard to kill.
Yeah, he's stupid.
Like, yeah.
And also you can stack the toughness reduction.
That is true as well.
Yeah. You can stack the OC reduction as well with Rotigus. You obviously can't take it past 1, but you can say half a Rhino, so say half a PBC from 4 to 2, then -1 makes it 1. It's very niche, but you can do it if you're that way inclined.
Yeah. We got Prometheus RCU saying, had the pleasure to play Will in the Death Guard mirror match at the Glasshammer GT in round 5. Fantastic opponent. That's a lie. Thoroughly enjoyed our game, even if it was over quickly. Do you still want to buy his dice tray?
Oh yes, I'll buy that dice tray. My God, yeah. I'll summarise this for everyone who's on the chat. Everyone who's listening. Prometheus, yes. Messing me, where do I send the money? So basically, he charged. We both had the 10 fight first unit. So I was trying like a little 5-man with all combat. So he charged his 10-man into 5-man with all combat. And nothing much should really happen. But I spent the CP for exploding 6s. Rolled like 6 6s with the damage to your weapons. They all exploded. Obviously had the extra AP. Basically, like, to cut long story short, my 5 Plague Marines picked up his full 10-man squad with the 2 characters in one activation.
Oh my God!
Mathematically, it should not happen. And then the game just kind of went a bit badly from that point onwards because it was a trade. Yeah, but Yeah, that dice tray, like, and then after the rest of the game, and like, I'd have to roll a dice. No, I need a 6. If I rolled in his tray, it'd be a 6. Anywhere else on the table, be a 1. So just rolled all the stuff in his tray and just literally never rolled so many 5s and 6s. So yeah, so just tell me how much and where to send the money, and yeah, I'll give my boss.
So we got DM. How did Death Guard deal with Doomsday Arc? So I'll answer that one quickly. It's hard. It's a very good shooting platform. It's got massive range. Predators can try and duel it, but it has the unfortunate effect of it has a 4-up invulnerable. So you either one-tap it, or like it just never fails a 4-up invulnerable, which is kind of annoying. But the easiest way to deal with it is to just move cover to cover, try and dodge it as much as possible, limit where it can hypercrypt in. Because the thing is, it's still a massive model. It still like struggles to get anywhere. And if you're playing on like competitive boards, which say like the 72-inch range doesn't actually come into play ever, because you should never be like an open line of sight from like deployment to deployment. Like a lot of tables.
Glass on Mission 3.
Yeah. Okay, what's your Glass Hammer Mission 3 specifically? So if your friend keeps asking you to play Glass Hammer Mission 3 specifically, tell him no. Say, can we play something different this time? So yeah, just like you can either try and duel it like Predators, but honestly just move from cover to cover, try and limit where he can get to, and if he starts teleporting around, he'll eventually have to put in a position where you can like rapid ingress onto it and get on top of it and kill it.
Hey guys,
what I would add to that as well, just before Dave jumps in, with the Predators, you are 100% right, but having played Andy QC, who runs this all the flipping time, you have to generally put 3 Predators into it all at once, because the way it gets its wounds back, you've generally got to go all in. So against those lists, I've started outflanking all 3 Predators. You bring them in at once just so you can get a clean shot, because if you leave it on 3 wounds, it'll heal back up into its full bracket, and then it probably just picks up the Predator in response. And as soon as you 1 Predator down and it's 2 Doomsday Arcs versus 3 Predators, yeah, the attrition, they just get you because we don't have any invuns on them. But sorry, Dave, didn't mean to cut you off.
What I was going to say, there was a question for you two, was what are the 3 things you can do to support the stream?
Well, I'm an expert in this one, Dave. If you are enjoying the stream and you like what you're seeing, there is a little thumbs up button below. And if you click that button, you will win your next tournament game with Death Guard. 100% proven. Take it from me. Yeah, hit the thumbs up
Like,
button.
subscribe, and comment. We'll comment as well, guys. Interact with us, not just in the chat, if you're watching this video later. Tell us what you think, even if it's negative, we're happy to take feedback on board, or if you take a question or something that you want to see more of, less of, get in the comments. It pushes the videos higher in the algorithm. And yeah, but like, subscribe, and make sure you share it with your friends, your mum, your dads, your colleagues at work. If on the bus, tap the person on the shoulder, ask them if they want to watch it over your shoulder, and tell them where it is.
I recently found out my girlfriend's mum watches the entire thing. She has no idea what we're on about, and she has it on like low volume. But since I explained to her what the algorithm is, she's like determined to watch the entire video every time, which makes me smile and laugh so much. Jude, you legend.
We're also probably only 15 subscribers from 6,000.
Oh shit! Yeah,
I know. Yeah, we haven't even done the 5,000 stuff yet, have we? And
we're actually useless.
So, and in response to that, though, just big thank you to everyone for supporting the channel. It means a lot, and to get to this many people willing to listen to us talk about Death Guard consistently is quite amazing.
Speaking of supporting the channel, Brian Trill with a $5 donation. Love seeing the 3 Stinky Musketeers together again. You guys are the best. Cheers. Now you are 33% right in that statement. Death Guard Dave is the best. Me and Will are mediocre at best. You thought I was going to say me, didn't you? Subversion.
Actually, I want to add in one thing just as a subject. Also, we are Element Games affiliates as well. Now we've done this. I arranged it because I do part-time hours there. We haven't been on the chat to sort of do it, but we'll put the video put the link in the description.
It's already in there.
Oh, there you go. Same as Auspex Tactics. Anyone else, if you're in the UK and you're already buying Warhammer, Element Games is discounted. It's one of the cheapest in the UK to get it. What happens if you buy through that link, we get a little kickback for the channel. And then the idea is we've set it up so it's going to go into a separate pot for me, Aiden and Dave. And hopefully, if you guys are using this when you're buying your Death Guard stuff, we're going to try and get some codexes with it. Maybe even start using the money to get codexes for other releases so we can be a bit more in depth and stuff. And so yeah, please support us that way as well. So if you're buying models that you're going to buy anyway, buy them via the Element link, the affiliate link, and that gets us some pennies so we can buy more models, and just helps us keep this going. So yeah, I thought I would add that in there as well, guys. So we were doing a little midway
mid chill. And we also got Liz Chicken giving a gifted one Discussing Resilient membership. Congratulations to DM for getting that, and he's already said thank you. Again, check out the community tab for your benefits, and thank you so much, Laser Chicken. Right, okay, we are kind of copped up. Right, cool. We're all copped out. So
Are we good?
we're good. Yeah. Now I want to talk about something because it's juicy, spicy, a little oof on the edge. But I think it's important we talk
Aiden,
about
if this is the lump you've got in your nether regions, I don't think this is the place.
No, that's the discussion afterwards, Will. Don't worry. This is not that one. It's a different one. Thanks for calling it juicy, though. So, as a lot of people who might be online may be aware, something happened at the Tacoma Open, which is a GW run event of 460 players that showed up in America, in which the player who won it all, and I don't want to name names because, again, you can freely go find information if you want, but it's not, my discussion really isn't about that, although I do heavily condemn his actions. The player who won it ended up winning the event with 2 yellow cards. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but I'm pretty sure 2 yellow cards should equal a red card, which is a DQ. But that didn't happen. And the reason that didn't happen is because apparently the judges don't like, and GW events don't like the idea of tickets or cards, because it goes, they don't want the drama of someone, being DQ'd and all that stuff. The problem is that person then went on and won the event, which I find, I'll be brutally honest, I'll say disgusting. I think if something like that happens, then you shouldn't be able to go ahead and win an event. I'm a victim of toilet dice. I have very strong opinions on this kind of matter. Basically, a player was caught doing basically a cheating infraction, so rules infraction, so incorrectly playing rules. They were carded for. This player has.
What were the rules? Do you know what the interaction was?
So we had a Gazgul Thacker that was riding around in a battle wagon with an ARD case, which specifically states if it's got an ARD case, he cannot ride in it. This obviously allowed him to get to where he needed to be very safely compared to as normal. In addition, Flash Gits were also riding in these battle wagons with hard case and using firing deck, and the ARD case removes firing deck from that thing. He was also playing all his characters as T6 instead of T5, which they are. Again, this is what I mean. This is not one small thing. This is multiple things. And he got away with this for the first 5 rounds. And when he was finally caught and carded twice, he was not kicked from the event. And he proceeded to go into the Shadow Round and then end up winning the entire thing. Now, if that was, and he claims are that it was an honest mistake, and that he didn't know it. But here's the thing, right? Okay, if I got called out round 5 for a rules mistake that big, my instant reaction would be to drop the event.
I would have left.
Yeah. I said 0 on my scores, drop the event.
100%.
Because
so, I mean, the thing that I find most puzzling about is, say the first yellow card comes in, say it's a genuine thing, he looked at it, he didn't realise the high case and found it. Fair play. So that's something that maybe it's a genuine, regardless or not. But where does the second card come in? So does he get told and then just does it again anyway, hoping that no one will call it?
That's what
if that happens, that's when it becomes malicious, isn't it? That's when it's like
that's manipulating the game very seriously.
Yeah, that is what I have found out in research. But 2 yellow cards are 100% given, whether that is for the same rule infraction or something else. Apparently, people pipe in the comments, people saying there was also a case of, that tape measure that measured 5 is now measuring 6 and models moving 6. Again, that's all different. I'm not going to go with that. Well, the one thing we can definitely go with is the fact that he was using those rules in the wrong way. The one that's most egregious to me was also not just those, it's the fact he was saying all his characters were T6. Now, this is a veteran art player who's a veteran tournament player. And his excuse for that, because he has commented on it, was that he has basically said that they were T6 last edition. Okay, and it is correct, they were T6 last edition. Mate, it hasn't been last edition for over a fucking year.
I mean, is it someone who's been playing Orcs a lot? I mean,
yes, he's an Orc specialist.
Oh, right, so he's played lots of games this year, right? So it's not like he's left the game. He's had a baby, for example. He's come back.
Codex fairly kind of not too long ago.
Yeah.
That would be like us forgetting that our Death Shroud moved 4 now. You don't forget stuff that changed because that's the most impactful things. Like, at no point do I ever move. I know Typhus moves 5, and the reason I remember that is because it's so weird. It's like, okay, cool.
Are you saying Death Shroud aren't T7?
Dave, we're going to have a discussion now.
Oops.
Now, I don't want to exactly drag this on about the player, but I'm more annoyed at the fact that the GW run event itself overruled because
our system's pointless.
Exactly. Well, what we've heard is that
Doesn't matter.
that basically the judges were having an internal argument. Some of them wanted to DQ the player, but they were overruled because they didn't want any drama to happen. Then what's the point? What is the point? Like, what is the point of going, especially at a big GW event? I get they were like, well, we don't want drama to happen. It's a big GW event. You've just made a joke of your own event. You've let someone actively cheat and take the win, and I don't understand the logic at all. It wasn't Gaz that he was saying to T6. He was saying a War Boss and Snickrot was T6, the normal characters. Just to clarify that for you, Bollinger. And the thing is, like, okay, T6 to T5, is it massive deal? It can be. That could be the difference between one of those characters living and dying. Like, and then that can snowball on the game as it goes ahead. But I just can't understand the point. Like Will said, what is the point of having a punishment system to stop people cheating if it doesn't matter? Because all you have now shown the world is that you can go to a GW Open event, cheat your fucking ass off, get caught, and go, oh well, and still win the event.
Yeah, I mean, even if they'd have said you're on 2 yellow cards, I mean, this isn't a good answer either. So they said, well, that means you would be first, but you've got to finish 4th because you can't be on the podium. It should just be a drop. I mean, even if it's something like a yellow card means you drop so many points, you drop 20 points. And like
he was punished 10 points in a game that he won like 97 to 20.
Oh, I mean, that's
it should just be it should simply be a case of if you got through the last round because you played extra toughness on your characters, or putting Gaz in a truck and getting like all this extra protection stuff for a monster anyway. If that's what won you the game, you should just go, right, you get yellow carded, you lose, the points from that game are gone.
Yeah, 0 out.
If you're staying in the event, like that is gone. Your opponent wins.
So I found this out obviously because I read it, but then I watched a guy called Happy Crump in Wargaming who was an art player, and he was obviously very critical of this, and he was going through it, and he had his own opinion on it. So check him out. It was a good video, very educational. So Happy Crump in Wargaming, pretty good shit. But he stated that in the past he has had something similar happen, not to this effect, and he didn't get yellow carded, but basically he played 2 rounds of an event, and the 3rd round he got his army out, and his opponent said, "Oh, I didn't see that in your list," and it was only like a unit of Gretchen. But he just left it in his bag. And the first thing he did is he went to the TO and he zeroed all his scores.
Because he left the second day. I remember that being a big deal when it happened.
Yeah, and that is the behaviour you should have. That tells me that's an honest mistake. Yeah. Because you're willing to, you're not trying to argue, you're not trying to say, oh, can we just say I've not used I'm sorry to the first 2 opponents and we'll play on and we'll ignore it. Now, he literally went to the judge and was like, look, what do you want me to do? I fucked up. Like, because people make mistakes. 100%, this game is complex. People make mistakes. Things happen, we can't all measure perfectly all the time. Sometimes it was you moved 6 because you moved your model a little too far and you didn't mean to. Like, things happen. I totally get that. But that and what happened in this event is not accidental play. It's either you are extremely sloppy and lazy and can't be asked to learn your rules, which I could understand if you're a new player, but you're not, and you're a specialist of the faction as well, so don't give me that bullshit. And you also you did it for 5 games, dude.
Like, I mean, like I say,
thousands of dollars of prize money playing this, right? Like we you go to these events because you get to play more 40k in a short space of time against other competitive players, and that's what we all go and play these games for. What is the point in just doing that through 5 rounds and into the shadow round to try and just win an event when you've cheated your way through it?
Oh, don't worry, he got his golden ticket, so. Nice one, Jimmy.
He shouldn't get his jigsaw. Part of me thinks that it was likely a mistake. Because the thing I think with these kind of rules thing is, so say for example you play him at a tournament. Say for example I'm playing Manny Chima. Manny Chima won this last year. And Manny Chima tells me his Death Company are strength 14, move 13 inches, and advance 12 inches on a D6 dice. I don't know. Like, it's impossible stuff. But I don't know the army, and I know he's a good player who's really respected. Manny doesn't do this, by the way. And
it's just a name. It was just a name, bro. Yeah.
It's just an example. And like, but in playing against me, I'm Joe Blogs for the most part, and I talk on the podcast, but I generally go 3-2, sometimes 4-1 at events, never 5-0. So what he tells me, it's a safe space. Do you know what I mean? Like at the end of the game, whatever happened in the game probably stays at the table. Maybe it gets talked about in the car on the way back home, but that's it. But as soon as you hit the shadow round, you assume that you're playing against other good players who probably know a lot more about the game.
Yep.
So it's harder to get away with that stuff because they're like, well, my death company is strength for. No, they're not. I know for a fact they're strength 10. Like, so if you continue that into the shadow round, that to me maybe it was a rules action because at that point you're in the danger zone of getting caught, if you know what I mean. Unless you are just stupid and you sort of sort of thinking it through. It's a second yellow card. That's the big. That's the red flag. It's
it's a sportsmanship element. It's what you were saying, right? And I'm with you on that. I think it'd be a case if you were like, I messed that up, then I would go either zero that first game, or actually, you know what? If it's two things, then I'm out. I'm out. Like,
I've had an opponent come to me after a game, and he lost it anyway, but he apologised to me because he was playing the rules wrong and he just found out about it. Because the thing is, the game is full of so many rules, and again, because someone just said in chat, Epsilon, the rules aren't 3 to everyone. I don't own every codex. I can't. I'm not going to go do that. I'm not going to bother learning it all. I know the core stuff, like because if you see a lot, because you have to learn that, but there's no way you can know every. I don't know every Tau strategy off the top of my head. So there is a trust system in place. And
I only learned recently that you can't add the extra. You had the extra AP with the strat. You can't add an Overwatch. It's only in the shooting and the combat phase. I didn't realise that. Someone showed me, and I was like, I don't use it very often, so it hadn't changed anything. But I'm glad I found out then and not after I'd used it in a time that I shouldn't have.
To your point, Will, about in the example you were just giving there about someone saying this, I tend to start most of my games at tournaments with saying to somebody that they talk me through their army, I talk them through mine, I talk them through. So I'm like, if you want to know anything at any point about this or any interaction that's going on, I'll happily explain it again. If you want to look at the any of the bits on the app that I've got in here, you can do that. I said, but what I tend to always follow up with is, like, I'll trust that you know your army and your rules, and and I will do, but equally, if you want to just ask me every question every turn about everything, that's totally fine.
Yeah, people need to understand it's not offensive to ask to see someone's rules.
Not at all. So let's go into the game with we'll play in this manner. Like I said, I'll always talk through my turn and what I'm doing, etc. And like I said, I'll trust you know what you're doing. And then because you've got, it's a long day, right, of playing. Particularly the first day, you're playing 9 hours with people, and you're trying to finish games in 3 to the max to let everyone play how they want to play, and then you've got to kind of try and find something to eat, and then go out for a drink afterwards. But that you can't go into we don't want to be in a sport or it's not sport, but we don't want to be in a competitive scene where I want to see every single time somebody does anything. I'm like, show me on your phone. I want to see that strat. What phase can you use that in? How many inches does that unit move? That just would kill the entire thing.
Yeah, and the problem is when stuff like this getting away and unpunished, though, it makes you feel like sometimes you're going to have to be like that. And the thing as well, I just want to clarify as well, this individual as well has been caught before cheating on stream as well. There is a full stream clip. And the thing that makes it set in stone is the clip that is there is so intentionally cheating. So basically, he goes to do an action back in last edition. The clip's from last edition. He goes to do an action and an objective. Now, his opponent says, can you do the action? And then he says, let me check the wording because I don't want to cheat you here. Now, his opponent has models on the objective. Now, he gets out his booklet and he reads, because back made faction-specific secondaries. He reads out Awaken Ancient Machinery for Necrons, and he says, all it says is have an enemy, have a unit on an objective that I've not already performed this action on, that isn't engaged and hasn't shot yet. And he goes, yeah, that's all it says, right? And if you go and read the damn thing, it says, he just omitted the part that says on an objective that has no enemy models with on it. He just omitted that completely. And not only that, if my opponent ever asks me to check something, like I've been called out on a Plague Bus call because people think they have 3+ saves. I'm like, no, they got 2+ save. I'll go, let me just double check, even though I know it off the top of my head. I'll pull up the app, I'll find it, and the first thing I do is I go, yeah, look, and I pass it to them to check. I don't keep it to myself. I go, yeah, 2 up save, put it away. Like, and he didn't do that. He just said what it was, and then he's got to do his action for free. Like that, there's no way you can read a rule in front of your face and then say beat to your opponent, omit the one bit, because you should just read it word for word. So that is an intentional choice to omit that specific bit so you can do your action. So that tells me already that you're a character that I can't put faith in that this was an honest mistake.
That's
So,
yeah, I mean I suppose that's it's kind of a bit cut and shut. But I mean, but even when you type it, forget like I forgot how Overwatch worked in one of my games over the weekend. I argued that if I made the charge, even though he could see me, it would be fine. I didn't charge anyway, but then he was adamant that that's not how it works. And afterwards, I yes, definitely not how it works. What was I talking about?
Yeah, but
like,
I think we, you know, like you said, this game is so complicated. There are thousands of rules layered on top of each other. You're going to make mistakes at points, and I think you just have to make sure that you both, if there is ever a bit of contention about what something's about to happen, is just have a good chat about it, and get to a place where you're like, I think it's this, or you think it's this, or actually we both think it's this, but we're still going to go grab a TO quickly and be like, our understanding is this interaction is like this.
Yeah.
And is that the case?
Yeah, you can grab a TO in a neutral stance. Like you're not trying to screw over your opponent or get him. Like sometimes we've had that before. Where it's like, you know, like you said, we've had a weird scenario come from like, how does this actually work? And neither of us knows. Like, let's just go get a judge because I'm not going to rule it in my favor. You're not wanting to rule it in your favor. Let's just go get a neutral person and they can decide.
When I played Aiden, your buddy, with that time when I was playing the car park list and he was running the Chaos Knights, and we had I can't remember what the interaction was, but we both got to a point where we were like, we actually both agree that we think this is how this thing works, but we just grabbed a passing ref anyway and just said, this is going to happen, here's what we're doing, we both think it's doing this, is that right? And the guy was like, yeah, that's totally fine, you guys are you're interpreting it right. And so we, even though we were agreeing on it, it was still that we both didn't know 100% how that interaction should work, and it just clarified it, because had it gone the other way, then it could have changed the rest of the game for both of us.
Yeah. Now, yeah. I don't want to linger on this because obviously it's not positive.
Yeah,
we're trying to be positive. So all I'm going to say is, for the individual involved, if you knew you were intentionally doing it, and again, I'm not going to make a judgment. Like, you'll know at the end of the day whether you were doing it intentionally or not. If you were, mate, hope that golden ticket tastes good, mate, because you sure as fuck don't deserve it. I'm sorry, I'll be the aggressive one to say it. But mainly my main issue is to the GW team or judge team there, because how this can even be allowed to happen is beyond me.
I think Games Workshop need to toughen up a little bit there and be like,
definitely
needs to be something.
It would just stop it happening. If people are like, you got to quit doing this, those rounds up to this point then are all zeroed because we'll assume you've been doing this. You know, if you're in round 4 and someone catches something like that that's seriously game impacting, and you get carded for it, it would just, you know, and there's a pattern of it, and they talk to previous bits. You go, right, well, you're gonna lose all your points from that bit, or that's a very serious. You've gone to the end of a tournament.
Yeah. I mean, with that one, I'd say
the second place wins.
Yeah, you'd think it would be quite fair. I mean, the obvious outcome, which is obviously what didn't happen, is look, we'll trust you. This is a rules error. It's a bit questionable. We'll trust you. If this happens again, we know it was not a rules error, and you're really pushing your luck. And obviously, if that happened again, then it's sort of like
from our events for a year or whatever.
See, I would, unless the yellow cards, you got 1 yellow card for getting the toughness wrong and 1 yellow card for the hard case, and that's how it was 2, because that's a really backwards yellow card system, and that'd be the only other way I'd be like still wrong on GW's part, but I don't get how the second yellow card came in. That's the thing that just boggles my mind.
The only thing is we won't ever get the full story. But we'll move on for now, because again, I know I'd probably use some strong language in the other two here, but again, you please do remember, guys, I have genuinely been cheated potentially out of a GT win because of cheaters before, and one from my own club as well, which really pissed me off. So I have very strong opinions on cheaters. So I do apologise if I caused any offence by that, or maybe I was a bit strong on that. But my opinions is my opinions. It's not these guys' opinions. Please don't lump them in with me if anyone gets pissed off on the internet.
No, I think we all feel the same way about sportsmanship and playing. That's why we talked about it previously. But like you say,
so,
go on.
I've got a good segue then. Courtiers. Do you know what I mean by courtiers?
So fucking bad.
How bad is the model? Yeah.
What the headlines?
I've seen in ages. The Custodes new champion was a bit questionable, but they've just gone down. And what's his seagull doing? Looks like it's.
I need to pull it up. I'm finding it now. The stream, just for anyone that hasn't seen it yet, needs to witness. KTS.
So bad. The old scope's cool.
Plague Marine as well. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, thank you so much, mate. Massive appreciate it. Sorry if I missed it in my rant there. Oh, there we go.
No, sorry. I think he's just asked a question which I think you guys could probably talk to. It'd be quite interesting as well.
Can you read it out, because I'm currently getting a certain image.
Yeah, no. So he just said, "Hey Dave, short question. How to set up drones and rhinos if I have 3 L-shaped ruins in my deployment zone and 3 to 4 huge windows for enemy long range." So I assume he's playing on terrain where they're not line of sight blocked on the.
It depends. Does he mean like if he steps on the base, so like at Glasshammer, for example?
Yeah, Pavel, do you mean if you're so have you got based like actual based terrain that's hard to not be on, that's causing then line of sight through windows, or are you able to be off of it? If you can clarify that, maybe I can get the guys can give you a bit more. Hey, look, it's the 4th member of the.
So I put the model on the screen. Now, don't get me wrong. I think GW do in general an outstanding job with the models and sculpts. This one though.
Have you seen the Wallace and Gromit meme, by the way?
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Why is his diaper so big?
He's got a giant pair of underpants on.
Like his torso is like this, and his legs are like this. Do you know what's
the
gonna be really
second part
funny?
of the model's even worse.
It's
The
so-
seagull.
Oh, the double-headed screech.
Looks like it just slapped into a window.
But wait, can I make this even better? I'm going.
Question I have on it, wait, it doesn't. Does the seagull actually do anything, or is it there as a token? Because if so, it's going to completely ruin like the model's like ability to hide, and
Yeah.
I can see the giant wing of your albatross just hanging around the corner.
Someone in one of my chats said he's got that Wayne Rooney haircut, which made me laugh.
Oh, he hasn't he?
He's had all the plugs put in.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't skip leg day. That's for sure. As the chat just said,
I don't think he doesn't skip leg day on the rack, just getting them stretched.
Because like, yeah, this is the thing. Like, surely, like, I don't even mind like certain things, but like the proportions. What the hell? Like, why are his legs twice as long as his torso? Like, don't get me wrong, people have longer legs than torsos, but like, Jesus Christ.
Honestly.
It's weird, isn't it? It's
He's-
just such a bad sculpt.
And the weird thing is, like, the codex art is like him, but he looks nothing like it either. It's just, oh god, it's
Q, that's a question you've got to ask yourself in chat: is how are you this late for the return of the Great Wardog Will? I mean, that's only you can answer that question.
Yeah. No, he still has a strategically placed rock. Do not escape his strategically placed rock on his left foot. There is still a strategically placed rock there. He's just, you know, the thing is, just imagine this guy running at you. Like, how does he walk? Okay.
Waddles, doesn't he?
Just, he literally is the Wallace and Gromit thing where he's like, the legs are up like that.
Maybe it's just his head, and inside are loads of squirrels with like levers and stuff, like running the armor.
Snurglings. Who
yeah.
portrayed him. Yeah, it's
What-
go on.
I was just saying, what do we think of the Imperial Agents Codex? I mean, it's we're probably going to get a roadmap soon, and I think
please.
we're getting to the point where we can expect ours probably within the next few codexes. I mean, I picked up at one of the events that I was at as well. Someone gave me a bit of a tidbit in the sense of they'd spoke to a player tester, and Plague Means might be getting split into different units like Tau Crisis suits, right, with just guns and just combat. That was all I know, so I don't know anything else. But the fact that those rules are out there suggests that the fact that those rules, I mean, it could be complete nonsense as well, don't get me wrong. But if those rules are out there, suggests the codex might be coming if people are play testing it or aware of these things coming. So hopefully we'll be within the next few months. Fingers crossed.
I think we'll get it in the winter.
You think?
So,
I hope. I don't know anything either, but that's kind of.
So here's a question for you. In this, again, it links to this one here. In the Inquisitorial Imperial Legend, whatever it is, we have seen Death Watch are no longer a standalone army. They're now part of this army. This army can also draw from Sisters of Battle and Grey Knights. Now, there has been a rumour going around for a while now, and normally, I won't name any names, but normally if I hear a rumour that is untrue, people are quite quick to let me know that don't worry, that's not happening. The going rumour is that Demons Codex is going away, and they're going to Age of Sigmar all of the demons, so Nurgle demons will join our book, Corning's World Eaters, etc., etc. And that's why we haven't seen any Chaos God Demon books so far. I just want to see a Chaos God aligned book, because that will give us our answers. So a question for you is, how would you guys feel if this happened? Personally, I think it'd be cool for Death Guard, but at the same time, like, I just started, like, wanting to, like, paint up and do a demons army, and because I used to do Demons Before Death Guard, and this would be a bit sad because for me, I wanted to do Undivided, and that would no longer be a thing. You would just get to play it with your only Legion, so it'd only be able to collect Nurgle demons basically. But how would you guys feel if this actually turned out to be true?
If I was a Demons player, I would be effing furious. Like, I would be so livid. Like with GW, I know a couple of Demons players who like to play mixed guard. I think if I was one of them, I would be raging. But on the flip side, as a Death Guard guy who also has Nurgle demons as second army, believe it or not, before Knights, I would be, yes, like from a selfish point of view, Nurgle demons being able to be fielded not as allies, just, you know, Plague Bearers are a battle line or Plague Marines are a battle line. I would be all over that selfishly, but, you know, from the point of view of a demons faction specialist, someone who likes the mixed god and doesn't want to sort of now just play one god out of the death. For example, if I was a mixed demons guy and now have to play Nurgle demons out the Death Guard codex and I can't mix them in, I would be so angry, you know. But at the same time, selfishly, I'd be really happy. You know, I'd also love if Gellerpox Infected got brought in as well. You know, like, be nice to be able to run them because it looks like they're bringing in the Imperial Agents thing. Now they've sort of linked them round with the all the sort of like random, you know, Imperial Arbiters and stuff, you know, coming in as part of the Imperial Agents. If they do that and, you know, and Gellerpox Infected get mixed in with Death Guard because they are 40k mods, don't have 40k rules, and it's Nurgle, I'd be happy. But yeah, I'd be livid if I was a Demons player if that happens.
That's what I mean. I feel sorry for Demons players, but it'd be cool to have like more build variety and not be like limited to taxing. But I also kind of worry like the impact it could have on detachments if it's going to be like you get a demon detachment, you get this. Is what I mean. I just want to see any god codex mode. I'll take World Ears, I'll take Thanos because it will just let us know what's happening with demons, because it could all be a load of nonsense. But like I said, normally I've heard people being like, yeah, it's a load of nonsense, whereas everyone's weirdly quiet on it, and I'm like,
I think, yeah,
I mean, it would make sense to do both, really. Have demons as one book mixed, and then Nurgle with Nurgle. Because I thought it's weird that you can't.
We should bring them with us. I mean, I think on the Agents of the Imperium, I actually really like it. I think there's going to be some really cool thematic armies that could get put on the table, and I think they'll just be great. I think there's some massive fans of those collections that would love to be able to put that on the table. How competitive it will be, we've got no idea at this point, but like it looks like a lot of fun. So I'm a big fan of actually that being put together as a codex. To your question, I'm the same as you, Will. I think a Demons player, I would be, if I was a long-term Demons player, I would be I'd go nuclear about it. But as a Death Guard player, I've got a 2,000 point completely allied every demon character, full Nurgle plus Plague Bearers plus Grand Clean one and everything.
Yeah, I've got 90 Plague Bearers.
I've even got a Pallid Hand painted Bellicle in their cabinet. So if I can put any of that on the table and it synergizes with my Death Guard and gets, you know, the gift of Nurgle and everything, great.
Yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts, Aiden? I mean, are you know, where do you stand both on them, you know, losing the mixed god thing and also them being mono with Death Guard? I mean, because I know you're quite precious about your power armored Death Guard being power armored Death Guard, and
yeah, I mean, I would prefer it to stay as is, mainly because I don't like the effect it have to demon players, and allies kind of still work, but at the same time, like, it would also fix the problem that allying causes, where like things are having to be balanced because they're allies and they're stronger in Death Guard than they are demons. But now the demon players are just getting screwed over because the Death Guard are using them good. It would be interesting to see. We'll have to sort of like see how it goes. But I mean, at the moment, like the problem is we're just guessing, like, because again, Codex roadmap where? Like, please. We really need to see a Codex roadmap, and I really hope we get to see it pretty damn soon. So just very quickly in the chat, Discord is for members, but I will say that it's not a you pay your 3 month at a time or I'm kicking you out. Like, once you've supported once, it's your choice to keep supporting, obviously, if that's something you want to do. If you just want to pay once to get access to Discord, I'm not going to hunt you down and kick you out if you're not a recurring payment person. The only difference is that your role on the Discord gets downgraded, and you won't have access to enter the giveaways or the plague surgery, but you are still more than welcome to engage in all the other channels on the Discord. So just want to clarify that. But yeah,
Nice.
it'll be interesting to see. And again, we'll only find out when we actually get some information from GW themselves. So hopefully we'll get something soon, because I want to be really hyped and I want to see. And if it's Death Guard codex gets announced, that we're about to go big time, boys.
I know it could go either way, but I mean, I think between the three of us, though, like even if we are the new GSC, which are weird, by the way, it's just a complete size. I've played GSC twice now. One time, they just didn't make any units back, and I just felt like they were the saddest army to play against ever. And then the second time, they got loads of units back, and I was like, it was still a fair game, but it was like they felt completely different. Like that mechanic of getting things back on a 5+.
It's so bad.
So yeah, it's either like insanely good or terribly bad.
Yeah.
You don't have an army rule, quite literally.
Yeah.
It's
like I really hope we don't. We're not GSing. We're not going to get that rule, obviously, but I hope we don't sort of go in the trash can.
I don't think we will. I don't think it will be like that. I think, and the bits I'm hopeful for is that we are mid to late in the edition coming, where hopefully the writers and the rules groups have had a chance to look at how all the indexes have interacted, what new things they've dropped in, how books have been written. A lot of other books have already been done, which means that the game is in a more balanced state than at the early part of the races. And I hope, therefore, that we get something strong, obviously, but balanced for the game, which is something I'm really keen on. I mean, we talked about it before, but I think if we go back to the days of 9th, it was like every codex that came out was like a hammer. But the game reacted quite quickly around them. And then by the end of 9th, we had, arguably the best balanced game to date. And I think 10th has now gotten there very much compared to the start of it.
I think 10th is
that we were at the start of 10th,
Yeah.
So I'm like you, though, Aiden, you just said there, I mostly want it to come just for a bit of hype about the, new hype about the faction.
I love Death Guard, and I still love doing the channel stuff, but I won't lie, it gets getting increasingly hard to make content when we just have one detachment to play with. This other thing is, like, even as a Death Guard lover like myself, and I'll still continue to play them, like, I am at the point now where I've tried a lot of builds, I've tried a lot of things. The index for me has kind of been solved at this point. And again, it's just because we don't have the options, so I would like to see the new codex come. And if we don't get, because again, there's still so many armies to get codexes, I would at least like them to give us another detachment to play around with. Good or bad, if it's worse than this one, I'm still going to take it to event to try out, just because they keep it fresh. Because, I mean, there's going to be one of us, it might not be us, it'll be a different army, someone's going to be last. And if they're stuck on one index this entire time, they're going to be proper bored by the end of it, I won't lie.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think it's going to be the last book, because you get that, the last book is always busted strong, it seems, but you live in that 3-4 months and the new edition starts, and it's like, oh, well, that was sad. Well, I suppose we had it at the end of 9th, didn't we, with our supplement, The War of the Spider. Oh, well, end of 8th. End of 8th.
We had play it.
And the Death Guard Codex was real early 9, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is the first edition we haven't been early, so it's quite interesting to see what happens to us.
Just to throw in there, actually, as an untested unit, because I've been testing them, because again, all the Demons players are hyped on them now. Soul Grinders. I've had a couple of games, because the UKTC stuff, you can actually move them now, and because it's like a bit, they're still not getting around the board great, but the outer line of sight gun, because it only hits on 4s, it can't be a better, is very similar to a Play Burst Caller's gun. Obviously the combat's no joke, and the 4+ invuln makes them quite tanky, and they've got like nice OC. Like, I've just been experimenting with them recently, just as a sort of an untested unit. Mainly it's because some of people I know who play Demons, who come like the various clubs and things that I go to, are just like hyped on them. And admittedly they can bring them within 3 of a Locust, which is a great and clean one now as well, which is why all of a sudden they've come out.
Really
but they're not bad, like 180 points, the same as a PBC, and I don't know, like with the exception of movement, they might be a bit better, or they're definitely like a side grade if they're not actually better. They have a different role. So if people are looking to innovate with something, maybe that's something to consider at the moment.
I like them, to be honest. I think they're good, and the other thing is they can rapid ingress because they have deep strike, which is really good to have this rapid ingress in, be able to then shoot and like move and then go and charge some. It's pretty good. Obviously, its tank shot got a little worse, but it's still like T10 or something like that, so it's still got good tank shot, just not like the 16 dice it used, or 18 dice it used to have. But But yeah, they do hit really hard. So, and I'm pretty sure, I can't remember if it's WT or UKTC, one of them removed the base requirement.
WTC. Apparently the base is only for Age of
It
Sigmar as
is supposed to
mandatory.
be.
You don't have to put it in 40k, because if you have to put the base in it, then it just ends.
It's game
Because you
over.
can build it like a crab, so it's still like long, but it's like almost like the same shape as a Land Raider a bit.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they're still awkward to move, but you can do it. You know, like it's. But yeah, I mean they're all right. Like I've tried a couple of games with like trying them with PBCs, and that line of sight shooting is no joke. But also they aren't.
The melee,
They are still hard to move.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, if this index goes on as long as it's going to go on, I might even have to start playing the War Dogs.
You go see.
I think this is partly why I've been dropping in. I'm starting to drop in like put a big knight into the mix as well, just because I wanted to see if I could make it work in a different way, while still staying, super majoritively core. So guys, can I just drag you back to, because we did talk about it earlier before we did a few things.
Yeah.
Because Pavel, who became a Plague Marine, he asked about the
Parafoxing
terrain.
as well. It's just quickly become a Plague Marine. So thank you so much for the support there. So massively appreciate it, mate.
And you were asking about, is it the kind of terrain that you step onto or not? He did actually add a bit more information. He said it's light terrain from WTC I've played lately, and I find it's impossible to hide without losing all of my move.
Yeah, it's the same as last time. I know what he's on about now.
Have you got any thoughts on deploying drones or rhinos in that kind of setup?
I think because I came across with this at Glasshammer. So previously Glasshammer, the windows and the second big one, so like the really big corner, they were blocked out on their terrain. So when they went to the new edition, I just assumed that would be the same as the list without checking. So only once I started having a couple of practice games, we realised the windows were open. We actually even messaged them thinking it might have been like an error that had just been missed from the FAQ of one. But it was a big mistake of my carnivores because they couldn't, like I said like earlier in the episode, like the same thing I talked about in the chat, I presume. You're off the base, so you can't be shot, but then because you're off the base and the base is big, you're way further back from the objective than you were planning to be. Or you're on the base against the wall, but you're taller than the second window so people can shoot through. The answer that I have is, and this is something that I'm going to learn myself, I'm planning to go back and play, maybe it's not the next one because I think it clashed with something else, but there's definitely one of the other Glasshammer events. You've got to look at your list building. I think the reality is you've just got to accept on certain terrain formats you can't bring certain vehicles back to Land Raiders and stuff, and other, even like we've just talked about Soul Grinders, Defilers. The reality is some boards, on the play stuff, if that still goes in America, you probably have a lot more options. But I think, one or two bloke drones, you're right. With the Flamers, it's fine. You can still stage it where the Flamers, maybe you can't get there to actually stand on it. But remember, the Flamers got an extra 2 inches, so you can still set yourself up for like an Overwatch trap or, try and charge onto it. Remembering you got the charge move as well. Because, realistically, the 3 seeing a bloke drone probably isn't taking it. But I think with Rhinos, you should be fine, though, if that was part, because they should be smaller than the second floor, because the ground floor is nearly always like blocked off. So I think you should be fine there. But the reality is maybe bloke drones, you take 1 or 2. Because I found in the Glasshammer with my carnivores being the example that I found, you could do 2. But the third one was the one where it was always like one of them could generally deploy in the safe pit, and the other one could rapid ingress in. On some of them, you couldn't even rapid ingress, you had terrain on the edges. But yeah, I think the reality is you've got to just look at enlist building. I think is a sad reality with that one. Like it's just one of those irritating things. And why Blood Angels and Sisters are also so good, because none of their models are tall enough to go to the second story. Well, they're trying to say Catherine is, but I've noticed lots of people have a 3D print where it's just the guys without the banners, which I think is always a bit kind of questionable.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my answer. I don't know if you guys would take a different stance on it or.
No, I think you got on that one.
That makes sense, mate. No, good answer.
So we're probably going to start wrapping this up because it is getting late for us. And unfortunately, it is a school night, and we ought to be in bed for 10 o'clock. We're already over our bedtime, so we're all going to get very yelled at by our missus because they're all going to be like, "Why aren't you in bed, Mister?" I'll get very cranky in the morning if I don't have sleep. I'm joking. She's the more messing. But yeah, I mean, how do we feel overall? So to wrap this up,
flying onto the side of Aiden's picture.
Yeah, just see a fist come flying in and just KO me completely. Oh no, she's typing in the chat. I'm in trouble, boys. I'm not bobbing on. Yeah, true, you are on your game, aren't you? You played away. So, yeah, I mean, like, how are we all feeling then so far? Because I mean, like, let's talk about upcoming events real quickly. So I'm next at Leeds. I'm also at London. I'm going to be at London, so I'm looking forward to meeting people if they're going there. Sorry, Hugh Janus. I am wrapping up there. Get here earlier, yeah. I'm sorry, mate. You've missed.
You can
the
watch
bus.
it back as well, Hugh. Don't forget, just because you missed you joined at the end. Once the stream finishes, you can go back and scroll back the start and see everything you've caught up on. So, you might be late, but hopefully the content's still something you can enjoy later.
And still loads of time for you to like and comment on the watch back.
Yeah, it's definitely
like, subscribe, comment.
That's the good thing. But yeah, I mean, Dave, you're also coming to London, correct?
Oh yeah, really. I'm going to be playing, trying to get in as many games beforehand to see what I think is the right combo. But I am probably going to take a big night. I think. Off the Death Shroud, I think is what I'm going to do. Just I like to take stuff to have fun with as well. So we'll do some testing as how it goes.
Yeah, we'll probably do like a little road to LGT kind of thing.
Yeah, but I think we definitely will. So I'm looking forward to that. I almost was going to be coming to Leeds, but then I checked with the calendar, my wife's calendar, and found out that unfortunately she's committed us to something on the same weekend. So sadly, I'm not going to make it. I was hoping to have some good news for you later, but
damn wives! I'm just really pushing my luck now. There's definitely a fist coming flying.
I'll tell you what, I'll throw in there because I am going to be at Leeds. That's my local, and I'm not going to be at London. But Aiden obviously is the man in the middle who's tying both the events together. I think we need to do the subscriber stuff, guys. Obviously, we're actually at 6,000. So Aiden being the man, why don't Aiden have to do two? He has to do a forfeit at Leeds and a forfeit at London, and I'll do my forfeit at Leeds, and Dave will do his forfeit at London. So people going to both events, if you're in the north or the south, you can come and sort of see what we've got to do. So maybe that could be your thing, Dave. Maybe it's the community have to vote which night you're going to take, or I don't know. I think do I have to call a WA?
You're not allowed, Will. I didn't realise in the UKTC pack you're not allowed to do that. It's a yellow card defence.
There we go. I'm glad. Well, we'll have to think of something then. We'll have to. I mean, like I say, hopefully this is me back on the regs now with these two guys. Not on all the live streams because I can only generally do one day, like certain days a week with evening commitments. But now we'll try and get a bit more regular back on the Tuesdays or something or whenever. But we'll try and maybe get another stream in before Leeds and London and talk about what we can do as some sort of. Some things I don't know. Maybe Aiden has to down a pint of cherry aids or something like that. I don't know.
I will chug him on the spot. I'll go back to back cans.
He'll deny it. He'll absolutely destroy that. But the thing I was going to say but also another point is, if you guys are at any of these events, like we'd love to meet you guys.
Yes.
Come over and say hi. Absolutely. Totally do. We're just normal players like you guys, so please come and say hello.
Yeah, and you're going to LVO definitely, aren't you, Dave?
I'm going to LVO, yeah. So I'll be
nice.
LVO in January.
So for our American viewers, you can meet Death Guard Dave. I would love to go, however, money is, and I'm sure it's the same for you, Will. Money is a bit of an it's very expensive.
It's something the trip to do.
It's same with London for me. It's not that I couldn't afford it. It's just a lot more money. Like London is 2 or 3 other local.
You could do 2 or 3 GTs for that, right? Yeah.
I'd love to come to LVO one year. We'll see what happens. But I as even with the support of the channel, which has been fantastic, and you guys are legends. It's a very expensive trip. But with Death Guard Dave is definitely going to. You get to say hello to Death Guard Dave.
I'll definitely do that.
And maybe I don't know. Maybe some lottery ticket will fall into my lap. We'll never know. We shall see.
We might have a golden ticket by then. Either of you could have a golden ticket, so you never know.
You don't have to get one. You play orcs.
That's it. So if you're Andy QC, just bring a monolith. That's what you're gonna do.
What do you mean I can't put 6 Death Shroud and a character in the Land Raider? I could do it last edition.
Yeah, and we get that as well. So just before we quickly probably wrap up, roll a bit in chat. The best Death Guard defense against Thousand Suns is just kill all the sorcerers.
Yeah, kill.
Best Death Guard defense against Thousand Suns. You win a series one is things in rhinos because they generally can't get the rhino and the stuff inside. So you move your rhino in, you let them shoot it, then you disembark and shoot them anyway.
Indirect rubrics as well. If they haven't got rhinos themselves, rubrics really don't like being shot by PVCs. So that's a pretty good little fast fact there.
On that last note, guys, should we? Will, anything you want to end on, Will?
Oh, hang on, yeah. I mean, I always want to get better at the game, but I really struggle. I mean, if only there was some kind of like coaching service, you know. I mean, anything you guys could recommend?
Aiden, do you know of anything like that might be able to help?
I'm not sure, Dave. I think you might know a bit better than I do, to be honest with you.
Well, I think if people look in the description, you'll find links to Vanguard Tactics, who Aiden and I both play for. And Will, you need to also come and play for. We're gonna
No, Pete and our team are now winning super majors, so you know, Stone and we're growing up in the world.
True.
Don't you be poaching our Andy.
We can't help it if people want to come and play. In all seriousness, an amazing channel, both with free content, multiple battle reports a week, which you can get on and get on the see. Masterclass coaching, an academy if you really want to get into 40k and have classes available via an app, as well as via the web. We have got a referral link in the things, and once again, anybody who uses that and joins any of these courses or elements, that will help the channel out. So please feel free to use that if you are going to look at them. But aside from that, it's a great place to go and watch some great content and see some really good sportsmanship on the table. The thing that always drew me to them is you'll see them playing stuff and mid-game be going, hang on a second, if you actually do this, you'll mess me up even better. And people do it. So that's one of the things I would say is good. And Aiden, is there a place where if I want to make sure that when I deep strike I do it properly, is there a place where we can get
Let me just
things that'll help?
There might actually be. I think I actually did have a pack and I've like misplaced it now. This is awkward. But yes, you can actually buy yourself some disgustingly resilient branded gaming aids from our lovely other sponsor, which is Saltire Games, on their Etsy page, which is again in the link in the description below. Using promo code NERGLE, you can save yourself 10% on that order. Give a bit of kickback to us, and it contains, infected objective markers, it contains deep strike marker, contagion range sticks, a little dially counter boy, which is really cool. What are we pointing at?
They're in the back room.
Oh, they're in the back room. Damn, they're in the back room. Her fault. Blame her. She moved them. She cleaned up after me. Is what I'm trying to say. It's probably my fault. Don't worry. But yeah, you can pick them up for yourself. Again, they're branded with our little logo and stuff. It's really cute and really cool. So if you need those and you want to help your game, feel free to go and check them out as well. And even better, if you are already considering buying that next box of Death Shroud Terminators for when they definitely become battle line and you want to pick up your 36, what's a good place to buy them from, Will?
Yeah, from Element Games, and a little bit of that money goes to funding us as well. Sorry, just to double check, I don't know if that link is actually in the description so maybe just double check that at the end of the video as well.
I will double check.
But obviously we'll maybe try and get that link in the description of the channel as well. So even if people aren't making purchases now, obviously you can come back and use it. And every pound you spend, we don't get very much. We only get like a few pence, but obviously it all adds up. And at the end of the year, that's stuff that we can use to buy more codexes. Get access to more rules to sort of have better conversation with you guys. And when the Death Guard codex comes out, hopefully it'll help us all get one nice and early, and get those rules out there. But I mean, I'll let you guys sign off, but I think that's everything from me. So thank you very much, guys. Like I say, I'm sorry it's been a while since I've been on. Obviously, Aiden and Dave have been leading it for a while, but hopefully I won't be as big a break before I'm back on with you. And look forward to seeing you all soon.
Yeah, so I'm also going to see you all guys soon. Obviously, take care, enjoy yourselves, and I'm going to go away now and do my usual pre-bed routine, which is to go on all my favourite YouTube channels and press like and subscribe on all of their content.
I wasn't sure that was going then, Dave. I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
for me, it's been great to see you back. And as someone who was also absent for a little bit, it's very nice to see the three of us back together. Thank you to everyone who's watched tonight. And if you are watching back on kind of replay, remember to like and subscribe and comment.
Yeah,
comments are the big one, guys. If you can comment, like and subscribe, of course. But if you comment, it really pushes the algorithm up a lot. Especially if you apply to other people's comments and you get like a bit of conversation going in there. As long as you're being nice to each other, of course. That does really push the algorithm on YouTube and helps more people discover the channel as well. Plus, of course, if you really like a video, post it on your social media, share it on Instagram, Facebook, anything like that, anything where you access content, because the more people we can get talking about Death Guard, and we want to help the community grow. And of course, we say at the end, but if you have a big win yourself, someone, or you see someone do really well at a big event with Death Guard, point it out to us, reach out to us, and we'd love to theme, because we might, for example, the WTC coming up. I reached out to Quinton a while ago from Art of War. He's not running Death Guard anymore, sadly, but maybe he might do some WTC content, talk a little about teams and maybe some of the people who run Death Guard and where Death Guard may or may not fit into teams. So this is stuff that we'll hopefully have coming up for you as well.
Yeah, so it'll be awesome. So yeah, for now, remember to leave in the comments. Wardog Will, we found him. That's all you got to type. I want to see everyone type. We found Wardog Will. I'll welcome home Will. Something to welcome Will back to the group. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, everyone. Stay rotten, and we will catch you all on the next episode. Catch you later, everyone. Bye. And also remember, Cody is a terrible model. Should be ashamed of that.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe.